You are standing in front of a room full of people, your heart is hammering so hard you can actually hear it, your mouth goes completely dry, and suddenly every single word you plan to say just vanishes from your mind like it was never there. You know exactly what that feels like, that sick, sinking feeling right before you have to speak. That moment where your voice wobbles and you pray nobody notices. That split second where you think, why can I not just say what I want to say without falling apart? Here is what nobody tells you. That feeling is not a flaw. It is not a sign that you are weak or broken or somehow less capable than the people around you who seem so effortlessly confident. But it is costing you something enormous. And we are going to talk about exactly what that is today, because the cost of staying stuck in that nervousness is far greater than most people ever stop to calculate. Before we go any further, if you have already been struggling with this for a while and you are ready to stop suffering through it and actually fix it, we have some related programs linked down below in the video description. People who have gone through those programs have reported experiencing dramatic shifts in how they communicate and carry themselves in a very short amount of time. Do not sit on the fence too long on that, because transformation has a window and hesitation closes it faster than anything else. Now let us get into the real stuff. Think about the last time you held back something you wanted to say. Maybe you were in a meeting and you had the perfect idea but your throat tightened and someone else said it first and got all the credit. Maybe you were on a date and you wanted to be charming and funny and real, but instead you heard yourself talking in this weird, stiff voice that did not even sound like you. Maybe you were trying to stand up for yourself and the words just would not come out strong. They came out apologetic, small, quiet, like you were asking permission to exist. That is not a speaking problem, that is a life problem. Because here is the brutal truth that researchers and communication experts have confirmed over and over again through decades of study. How you speak determines how people perceive your intelligence, your leadership potential, your credibility, and your confidence. Studies on first impressions show that within the first 7 seconds of hearing someone speak, people make sweeping judgments about that person. 7 seconds, not 7 minutes. 7 seconds. And when nervousness takes over your voice, those judgments work against you even when everything else about you is exceptional. Picture this. 2 people walk into the same job interview, same qualifications, same experience on paper, same years of hard work behind them. But one of them walks in grounded, speaks with steady intention, holds the space in the room, looks the interviewer in the eye without flinching. The other one apologizes for sitting down too fast, trips over their own introduction, speaks so quietly the interviewer has to lean in. Who gets the job? You already know the answer. And that is deeply unfair because the nervous one might actually be more talented. But perception became the deciding factor. This is what confidence in speaking actually does. It does not just make you sound better. It changes outcomes. Real, measurable, life-altering outcomes. Now here is where most people get this completely wrong. They think confidence is something you either have or you do not. Like some people were just born being able to walk into a room and command attention, and the rest of us are supposed to just survive on the sidelines. That is one of the most damaging myths in the world of human development. Confidence in speaking is a learnable skill, full stop. Not a gift, not a personality type. A skill like riding a bike, like cooking, like reading. You can learn it, you can build it, and once you build it, nobody can take it from you. The people you see who speak with power, the ones who captivate a room, the ones whose voices carry authority and warmth at the same time, they were not born that way. Most of them had to deliberately rewire the way they thought about themselves, the way they used their breath, the way they positioned their body, the way they manage the inner noise that anxiety creates. And here is something that shifts everything once you really absorb it. Your nervous system does not know the difference between a real threat and a social situation. When you stand up to speak in front of people, your brain registers it like danger, like survival, and so it floods you with adrenaline. Your heart races, your voice shakes, your mind goes blank. This is not weakness. This is your ancient biology doing exactly what it was built to do. The problem is that your body is running survival software in a social situation that actually requires presence, not escape. When you learn how to work with your nervous system instead of against it, something remarkable happens. That same adrenaline that was making you freeze starts fueling you. The energy that used to scatter becomes focused. The anxiety that used to shrink you becomes electricity. And people around you feel that shift. There is a technique called controlled breathing that elite performers, TED speakers, surgeons, and emergency responders all use before high-pressure moments. Not because it is a cute wellness trend, but because it physiologically lowers cortisol within 90 seconds and sends a direct signal to the prefrontal cortex that it is safe to think clearly. 90 seconds. That is all it takes to begin interrupting the anxiety spiral. There is also something called anchoring your voice, which involves deliberate use of pitch, pace, and pause. Most nervous speakers rush. They fill every silence with filler words because silence feels like failure. But the most powerful speakers in the world do the opposite. They pause. They let silence work for them. A well-placed pause communicates confidence more effectively than any word ever could. And then there is body language, which researchers have shown accounts for a staggering portion of how your message lands. When your posture is open, when your hands are visible and natural, when your eye contact is steady and warm rather than darting or avoidant, your entire presence shifts. The room shifts with it, and you feel it yourself first, which is the part most people miss. Adjusting your body actually changes your internal state before it changes how others see you. These are not abstract ideas. These are tools, and tools can be picked up and used immediately. Now imagine waking up 6 weeks from today and walking into a room that used to terrify you, and feeling nothing but calm readiness. Imagine being in the middle of a difficult conversation and finding that your voice stays even, your thoughts stay clear, your words land with precision and confidence. Imagine going into an interview, a presentation, a first date, a hard conversation with a boss or a family member, and feeling like yourself, fully, powerfully, unapologetically yourself. That version of you is not a fantasy. That version is built one deliberate practice at a time. And the only difference between people who get there and people who do not is whether they decide to start. Think about what staying stuck is actually costing you. Not in vague terms, in real terms. The promotion you did not get. The relationship that stayed surface level because you could not say the deep things. The moment in the meeting where your idea died in your throat. The years of shrinking when you were meant to be expanding. Every one of those moments has a price tag attached to it. And the investment in changing this is nothing compared to the compound cost of staying silent. The programs linked in the video description below are the most direct path to making this transformation real and making it stick. Not someday, not when you feel ready, now. Because the people who wait for readiness keep waiting while everyone else moves forward. You have already spent enough time on the wrong side of your own potential. The next version of you is waiting, and the only thing standing between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming is the decision you make right now.